Did you see Lamar Jackson in the top 100 joint?
Just let me get to
Come on, bro.
let me get to my predictions, and
Come on,
then
bro.
we'll touch on
Come on, bro.
some of that.
You, you got yeah. Come on, bro.
You threw the oop there, but I was finna do that anyway.
My lord.
So
Yeah, my lord.
I like to start with my predictions by division. All right, and so I'll start with some of the easier ones, and then I'll work my way around, starting with the AFC West. Right, so you got the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chargers. I do think the Chiefs are gonna kind of come out with their pants on fire a little bit, a little pissed off about the way their season went last year. I love them bringing Eric Bieniemy back, who I was high on being an offensive coordinator for the Ravens back when we were looking for a new one before we hired Todd Monken. But that's neither here nor there. I won't make every topic about the Ravens and my connection to these people, but I do like Bieniemy back for them in Kansas City. I think the Chargers picking up McDaniel is going to be pretty big for them offensively. I think you're going to see an explosiveness to their offense this year that might have been missing in past. That's going to kind of help take them over the top a little bit. I think the Raiders are a little bit away. I think they got a good hire with Kubiak, some good draft picks with Mendoza and whatnot. But I think they're in workup mode, if you will, for all my military folk out there. They're doing workups right now. They're not quite deployable yet. So the Raiders will kind of just be there this year. And then the Broncos. I mean, pressure's really on them, right? Was last year a fluke? Did you guys just take advantage of the Chiefs, napping all season, or are you guys really about that? So I think it's going to be a lot of pressure, if you will, involved in Denver. I do still have a lot of respect for Sean Payton and what he can bring as a coach, and I do believe they're still gonna have a pretty solid defense. With all that being said, I got the Chiefs taking that division. Um, Again, I think that they're just gonna come out pretty pissed. And from everything I'm reading, Mahomes is not going to miss any time. We were thinking because of when the injury happened, the Chiefs might get off to a slow start this year because he would miss a couple games to start, maybe the first month and a half. But apparently he's been rehabbing his ass off, and he's going to be on the field week one. So if you're telling me Mahomes is ready to go week one, I'm going to go ahead and take the Chiefs to win that division. AFC South, I think that's going to
I
be
think the
probably
Broncos repeat.
Broncos repeat.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it wouldn't shock me again. I mean, their defense is not going to fall off. They're still going to have a top three, top five defense, and
Yeah, I think the Broncos repeat.
Sean Payton is still championship coach. Bo Nix showed enough last year to give him some reasons to believe this year. But again, I just think so much of your success in the NFL, specifically in your division, is your opponents and what they're up to. And so, like I said, last year they capitalized on a Chiefs team that was napping, bro. And the Chiefs was drawing. You know what I'm saying? And so them coming back stronger this year, it's gonna have an effect on the Broncos. We'll see to what extent, but I expect to see that. Now the AFC South. I actually think the AFC South is gonna be one of the more interesting divisions this year. Um,
Yeah.
for some odd reason, I just feel like it's going to be pretty competitive. I'm kind of, I won't say high on all of those teams, but there's reasons to believe in all of those teams, right? Obviously, the Texans, great defense, great coach. Getting a couple players back on offense, which should help their quarterback, who was showing signs of being a great quarterback before. I don't know what happened to him. He went on a day with Amber Rose, came back. He hasn't been the same since. That's another topic for another day on why I think that's the case. But neither here nor there. There's reasons to see the Texans as returning to the cream of the crop. The Colts getting Daniel Jones back, right? So they're going to get a quarterback back that when they had him, they were looking unbeatable. Is he ready to go? Is he up to par? Are they still going to be able to be as successful? Remains to be seen. But we do know they're going to still have that dominant run game with John Taylor, and they do have a sound defense with a very good home court advantage in Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah.
Then you have the Jaguars, right? Jaguars last year, I mean, they finished the second half of the season one of the hottest teams in the league. And with a coach like Callahan coming in his first year, getting that ending, that probably sparked a really good offseason for them. I don't live in Jacksonville. I don't know nothing about it. I don't follow the Jags. But if I was just hypothesizing, I would hypothesize they had a very strong offseason because they built off of a lot of momentum from last year, right? And a lot of belief. They're getting Travis Hunter back. He's running 22 miles per hour. That's a thing now. So they're going to insert that. That's going to be a factor there. This is year 2 for him, so you're going to see a big jump from him from year 1 to year 2, like you always do from most rookies to their second year. And then we got our boy Go Canes, Cam Ward down there in Tennessee. And they was able to get him a
Yeah,
coach in Robert Saleh, who I think is going to come in there and if nothing else, have that defense, prepared and ready to back their quarterback up, if you will. So is he going to be able to make enough plays on the offensive side of the ball to win enough games to keep things interesting? I think he's capable. He's definitely a playmaker. He can definitely make all the throws. He can definitely, read the defense and all of that stuff. He showed his ability to do that in Miami in his last year in college and his last year as a freshman or rookie rather in the NFL. I think if he had some better receivers last year, he might have won a couple more games than he did. So we
yeah,
got that
yeah,
going on in Tennessee. With all that being said, I do believe the Jaguars are probably the team to beat in that division. If I had to put my money on a team to win that division right now, I would take the Jags. I just like what they have on both offensive and defensive side of the ball, and then when you add in the fact that they're getting Travis Hunter back this year, I think that's going to be what kind of is enough to take it over the top. I do think C.J. Stroud's regression is kind of what's going to hold the Texans back a little bit. And then I feel like Daniel Jones will come back from an injury, but I feel like Daniel Jones coming back from an injury is not Patrick Mahomes coming back from an injury. And I feel like if there's a little bit of turbulence to begin the season because of that, that could slip up or have them slip up towards the end. So I would go with the Jags to
Who
win
won the
the
division last year?
AFC South.
The Jags,
Uh,
right?
no, I believe it was it was the Jags.
They're not going to win it again this year.
It was the Jags.
I think that
The
there's going to
Texans
be
was
a
the
new
wild card.
winner. Somebody else is going to win it. I think that division is too wide open.
Yeah,
Them Thursday night games.
yeah.
They need to just make Thursday night that whole division because that's all them games are. Yeah, I don't even give a shit about none of those teams in that division. Maybe except for I ain't gonna lie, the Colts was fun last year, but I feel like I do not. I would put my money on the Jags not winning again,
Yeah.
twice in a row. I
Yeah,
just feel like
I
there's
try to talk
nobody.
myself. I try to talk myself out of it too, but I just feel like I think the impact of getting Travis Hunter is what I'm resting on right now. I'm resting on him coming back, being 100% with the year 2 leap, and it being that much of a boost to a team that, like I said, he wasn't playing last year when they went on that run. The last 2 months of the season, or whatever, he was out. And they was crushing. And so being able to add him to a team that was capable of doing that, I feel like kind of it's not the same Jags team. So yeah, the Jags won last year, but to me it's a different Jags team, and I think they're better. So that's why I'm going with the Jags again. But it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't win it. If they didn't win it, the team that I was going to say shockingly was Tennessee. I just think,
Tennessee, I was about
yeah,
to say, yeah,
I
it might
think
be a team like that.
I
Oh
think
God,
I think that Cam Ward is a champion. I think he has the heart of
and
a
Ward could come
champion,
back pissed off.
and I
It can
think
come back mad.
I
Yeah.
think if Salah and the defensive captains over there get that defense ready, like I said it earlier, back him up. I think he knows I can go out in these games and control the game enough, score enough points, control the clock enough. I think Cam Ward's that type of quarterback, and so it wouldn't surprise me if shockingly, I think it would probably by the odds metrics, right? Vegas odds, they're probably the least likely, but to me it wouldn't shock me because I know the type of as I said, go Canes. I know the type of player that Cam Ward is. I know the type of person that he is, and so those winners translate. They keep winning. You know what I'm saying? Like they just get to a bit different stage of winning. So I think he's gonna eventually be a winner in the NFL. And if it started this year,
Yeah, yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me.
All right. So listen up. So we doing AFC tonight. You want to do NFC next show?
Yeah,
What are the
AFC.
other?
We'll do the AFC tonight. So the other AFC, we
Yeah,
got the West, we got the South, and then we got. I'm saving the best for last. So
yeah.
we're gonna go to the East. So the AFC East, we got the Bills, we got the Dolphins, we got the goddamn Jets. You know what I'm saying? And we got the New England Patriots. Um, One of the easier divisions for me to pick. I mean, obviously we know that the Dolphins and the Jets are tanking for somebody. Although I do think the Jets are gonna be trying to win games this year, and I think they're actually going to win more than they did last year. I think they're going to be a better team than they were last year. Because I don't think Aaron Glenn's in the position to be like, oh, I'm just going to lose all my games if we get the number one pick. Well, you're going to get fired, nigga. So you need to win
Oh
something.
God.
Right. So I think
Oh
he's
God.
going to, yeah, and then Geno Smith, he had the shit he had going on this offseason with, whatever. So it does him best to go out and put the noise to bed by winning some football games if he can, he's on the Jets. But again, they got players, man. Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, like they have players. You win a game. So I think the Jets are going to be better than they were last year, but they're not winning the division. The Dolphins, they're tanking for somebody, right? Archie Manning. I mean, do they want the C.J. Carr out of Notre Dame? Like, what quarterback do they want, right? Stockton out of Georgia. They want somebody. They're tanking for somebody, right? So Dolphins, I don't have them winning the division either. Now you got the Patriots and you got the Bills, the cream of the crop, right? The head honchos, if you will. I don't want to say last year was a fluke for the Patriots, but they weren't supposed to go to the Super Bowl, right? They were supposed to be a better team. You brought in Vrabel. You got Drake May in year 2. All these things, right? But the easy schedule, and then I think some of the injury stuff that happened in the playoffs with other AFC teams kind of allowed them to kind of get a little bit of recognition that maybe I won't say they didn't deserve, but again, they weren't supposed to make the Super Bowl last year. So
You feel like the Bills? You feel like the Bills just blew their opportunity? I know they were the favorites to kind of pretty much go get there.
yeah,
Do you feel
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Patriots basically are by virtue of the Bills losing?
Well, it was more than just the Bills, right? Because once the playoffs gets there, it's not just your division, right? You're stacked up against the rest of the conference. So you had the fact that the Ravens didn't make it, but the Steelers did because of the missed kick, right? So now you didn't have to go up. There was no Lamar in the way, right? C.J. Stroud gets hurt, so the Texans with this great defense are playing with a backup quarterback, right? Then whatever happened to Daniel
Denver quarterback,
Bo Nix,
yeah,
yeah, Bo Nix gets hurt,
yeah,
right? So they just capitalized off of that. Plus they had I'm pretty sure it was the easiest schedule in the NFL last year, which gave them the seeding to be in the playoffs in the first place to then benefit from that. So
home
again,
field and all
but
that.
then what happens, and that's why, like I said, you weren't supposed to be there, so you'll get humbled at some point. They make it to the Super Bowl and it's over. Right,
Right.
Mike McDonald and the Seahawks, which were a far more superior team. Everybody knows the Super Bowl last year was the NFC Championship, right? Rams versus the Seahawks. That was the Super Bowl. The best two teams in the playoffs, right? So, so yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again. Even though they went and got AJ Brown, huge. I think that's going to be huge for them. I know he's happy. I think a lot of things are still going to go well for them. I don't think they're going to fall off of a cliff, but I do think that the Bills are going to kind of be like, hey, Josh Allen's gonna be like, hold up,
It's still our division. It's
yeah,
still the
like
Bills.
chill out. Similar to what I think is gonna happen in the West, right? Where Mahomes is gonna be like, hey, bro, like I'm still here. Like y'all thought I retired, nigga. No, I didn't retire. It was an off year. I think it's gonna be the same thing with the Bills up there in the AFC East. I think Josh Allen's gonna come back and be MVP level Josh Allen, and the Bills are gonna be winning games at that clip. And the Patriots are kind of turn it down just a little, maybe not 14-3. Maybe 10-7, maybe 11-6, you know what I mean? And so then things will kind of go back to if you want to say normal. But I think the Bills will win the division. And
Right.
then of
Obviously,
course,
the best for last. Close us out. The best for last.
ain't nothing to be said, man.
Come on, man.
Ravens,
Ravens 17-0. Tell me. Ravens 17-0.
relax. Cause it's receipts now. It's receipts now. So I gotta be chill on all of that. Now, that being said,
17.
if there was a player capable of going 17-0 in the NFL, if you ask me, it's Lamar Jackson. I can get into the specifics as to why I believe that on a more logistical level on a later date. But just trust me when I tell you, the proof is in the pudding. The nigga don't lose
Oh, man.
more
The
than
boy's good.
he wins. And if you take away
The boy's good.
those blown 14 plus point leads, which you can't tell me a nigga that got a two score lead didn't do enough to win the game. If you take away those blown 14 plus point leads that he has in his career, bro, winning percentage like 84%. So we're going to leave it at that as to why I believe he's capable of going 17-0. Give him an easy schedule,
Right. He don't play defense.
and he
Right.
might
Lamar
not
don't play
lose.
defense.
He might not ever lose.
Right.
But needless to say, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the receivers in the draft, the offensive linemen in the draft and in the offseason, right? The changing of the scheme, right? Everything being tailored for what? The best player in the league, the best player in your organization. This is how you win. This is what the Chiefs have been doing. This is what Philadelphia has been doing. You all been doing this whole Harbaugh, and it wasn't working. We were telling y'all for years. I know it's been a long time because Sean Payton was doing broadcasting. And I was arguing with Ravens fans on Twitter, like, Sean Payton's a better coach than Harbaugh. We should fire Harbaugh tonight and hire Sean Payton. They're like, oh, no, this. All Sean Payton does is get off the headset and take Bo Nix damn near to a Super Bowl.
To the Super Bowl, right?
You see me? That's all he does after I said that, by the way. But we'll leave that at there. I can tell you how many times
So
I'm
you
right
feel like the John
all day long.
Harbaugh? So you think that the head coaching change is probably the most?
I'm going to take it a step further than that, BJ. And I kind of alluded to it last year a little bit. Maybe I said it directly. I'll say it directly now. But it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit if the players gave up on Harbaugh last year, as to say, we know they'll get rid of him if we don't make the playoffs.
So you feel like players kind of down
Oh,
back?
yeah. Go ahead and take a game off here. Go take a game off there. Miss the back-to-back games there, or the Thursday night game on the short week.
Lamar was abnormally chilling, bro. I
Take a
was like,
game
come
off.
on, my
Take a
nigga.
game off. Oh, don't scramble there. Oh, don't slide there. Oh, shank the kick, Luke.
That's now you get come on.
I'm just because here's my thing. If you got players if you got players that wanted them gone, and maybe they voiced that, but no one ever moved. Because how do we know they didn't?
You feel like they wasn't inspired to win.
This is hypothetically. How do we know that 2 years ago when they lost to the Chiefs AFC Championship, there wasn't players that like, bro, we need a new coach?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you know that conversation.
How do we know? Out of a 63-man roster, there wasn't one leader on that team, one player on that team that was like, man, we need a new coach. We don't know that.
Yeah, right.
And the likelihood is there probably was. And so if there was one, there was probably a few. And so if you had a few people that didn't think, man, our voices is being heard.
Yeah.
Because what's the first thing Steve Bisciotti says when he comes out and says,
He said with Tomlin.
No. He said they asked him. They said if Luke.
He said if he wins, is he still going to hold his job? He was like, nah.
He said if Luke would have made the field goal, would John would have kept his job? He says for a week.
Before he said for a week, yeah.
We were getting rid of him. Our players told him we don't want him. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. We're getting rid of him. And so now they listen to the players. I think you're going to see those players giving them their reward back, which is the effort, the focus, the discipline, everything that takes. I think that they're going to win the AFC North. Again, if you see a little bit of turbulence earlier with the new regime, new calling, new play calls, all this other stuff, that's to be expected when you have change. But once those guys get in sync, that's why football season is 17 games, 18 weeks long. Once those guys get into that sync, and they get gelled, and it start getting a little chilly outside.
Yeah. So the rest of the division is the Steelers.
I love the song that the Steelers are singing right now. Bring McCarthy, let him keep Rodgers. Oh, McCarthy, Rodgers. That's beautiful. It's not doing anything for me. Cleveland, I do think Cleveland, wild card because usually when a team trades away one of their best players or a top player on their team, everyone sells their stock. They're like, oh, they're going to be trash, and then returns is you were wrong. They got a bunch of assets, a bunch of other guys overperformed, and they actually were a decent team. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns are actually better than expected, but they're not winning the division better. They're not going to be that much better.
Seeing it. I ain't seeing it in Cleveland. Cleveland might go 0-17, bro.
No, that won't happen. That won't happen.
I fuck with Shador. I like Shador standard.
It's not Shador. You got Deshaun Watson still there, man, and I'm telling you,
D Watt there.
If you got D Watson playing decent level football, bro, he was a Pro Bowl level quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So
Cleveland the homecoming game, man. We set that up for homecoming.
There's got to be a part of you that thinks he can at least get back to some form of that. So I'm not gonna disrespect the Browns and or any team in our division. Our division is always going to be AFC North smash mouth. You got to go into our stadiums and find a way to win, even if they 0-17. I bet you they're going to be 1-16. Or 0-16. They'll be 1-16.
Right. Oh God, that's
against
what I'm saying.
Against the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like that's a rivalry.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. But I don't think
What
that
about
they're
Cincy?
gonna be. So that's the wild card. My thing with Cincinnati is I feel like they're just baby bro.
Yeah,
Lamar's like 10-1 against the Bengals in his career, bro. Like they do,
I'm not worried.
they're a lot of noise, but they against us they don't do nothing unless we got Tyler Huntley playing. They don't do nothing against us, bro.
Facts.
And now we got their best defensive player wearing black and purple, Trey Hendrickson. So
Yeah.
again, and you think he ain't been waiting to sack Joe Burrow all the times he had to hands up him in practice and shit with the red jersey on in Cincinnati?
Oh God.
He
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
put that boy on the mat. He
Yeah.
sacked. Props bet when the Bengals and the and the Bengals and the Ravens play. Go ahead and put a.
Get his sacks up for
I'm gonna go
sure.
ahead and
Yeah.
put a Jerry
At least one
Stackhouse
sack. Yeah.
on
Get a sack.
a sack from Trey Henderson off rip.
On that.
Off rip. He
Yeah.
gonna get that boy, yo, because he ain't been able to do it. You know? He ain't been able to do it. So yeah, give me the Ravens in the AFC North. Give me the Jags, like I said, with the shocker, sleeper, surpriser, Titans, if you will. If the Titans can catch flame and be kind of like last year's Patriots for real, right? Or one of these teams that kind of just come out of nowhere, right? And just and do whatever. We'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow when we talk about the NFC, because I think there's going to be more of those teams on that side of the league than the AFC this year. But again, we'll save that for tomorrow. The AFC West, Pat Mahomes, Project Pat, he comes to reclaim his throne in the West. And then Buffalo Bill, you know what I'm saying? Josh Allen, you know what I mean? I call him Buffalo Bill, you know what I'm saying? I think he going they got that new stadium opening up there. I think they got Benny the Butcher or something, performing at halftime.
Ah,
So,
shout out to Benny.
so it's Griselda. You know
my,
what I mean? I'm
my
rocking with
dog, shout out my dog
You,
Latavius
you,
Murray and all of them
you
too.
know I'm
Snaps, man.
Griselda all day. So that's another reason why it's like I'm such a homer. Like most Ravens fans like, oh,
Yeah.
I hate the Bills. Like I love Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Outside of when they play us, but I remember back when they had Marshawn Lynch up there going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
Feel it.
that was way back. You feel me? So yeah, Bills, Chiefs, Jags, Birds, man, Ravens. They're my
All right.
AFC division winners.
That's what's up. We
Yeah,
gotta do the
man.
NFC tomorrow. I'll kick off NFC tomorrow. I got some fun stuff to talk about with the NFC, man. Bro, it feels so good to be doing the show again,
Yeah,
man. Season
for
two.
sure, for sure,
You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure, for
We
sure, for
kicking
sure.
this joint off, bro. It's the off season in sports, but it's the real season in podcasting. Just appreciate everybody out there again tuning in. And most importantly, dog, I appreciate doing this with you, bro. This is so much fun for me. Like I said, we get to talk sports, kick it. So we're gonna lock this back in and make sure that we get all the parameters together, right? We gotta make sure we looking good. The lights is situated, the audio is good. So I just appreciate everybody that's been out there, that's waiting with us as we figure
Get
some of
ready,
those things
man.
out.
I think it's hold on. I'm gonna ask Siri right quick. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I got the joint.